Hi friends, this is Leela. Welcome to my ReactJS course. In this video, we will try to learn about the new concept that is nothing but the Redux. So Redux is nothing but it is a pattern and also what we can say it is a library. So which is used to maintain the application state is globally. So how we can maintain the application state globally? So we will be using this Redux. So let's try to learn how what is a Redux. So here if you go here, and this is the thing, introduction to Redux. So Redux is a pattern and a library for managing and updating the application state. So here the name itself indicating that Redux is a library for managing and updating the application state. So you need to remember this one. It is an application state, not a component state. So applications, for overall application you will be having a state, and for that state, for managing and updating that application state, we will be using this Redux. And that updating the application state you will be done using events called actions. You need to remember that. So for overall the application you will be having a state. So Redux will be managing that application, and it will be updating that application state using actions. So it serves as a centralized store for state that needs to be used across your entire application. It serves as a centralized store. So that means centralized store for entire application. Okay, so if you want to use this data in your entire application, so it will be very useful. Now you will be able to see here, why should I use Redux? Redux helps you manage the global state. So global state, so as I already discussed, right, application state is available in the globally state that is needed across many parts of your application. So that means the global state is nothing but the state which is useful for many parts of your application. That means ReactJS has so many components. So if you have some set of data which should be used across all the components, means then we can keep the data in the global state in the Redux store. The patterns and tools provided by the Redux, there will be some tools in the Redux, so which makes it very easier to understand how to use the Redux, and also whenever the when, where, why and how the state in your application is being updated. So whenever the global state data is updating, you will be able to recognize when it is updating, where, why and how it is updating, and also you will be able to understand how your application behaves whenever the global state is updated. So that is the reason why we should be using the Redux. If you are using your own, means you will be able to control this maintaining this centralized data. So for that reason we will be using this Redux. And another one is, when should I use this Redux? So Redux is more useful when you have large amounts of application state that are needed in many places in the app. So that means when you are having large amount of application state, so you are having lots of data that is useful for across all the components of your application. So sending through the props and receiving through the event, lifting the state up, and these all the things. So it will be a complex. So for those type of things, so you can maintain this type of all data in the application state, so that we can use it in many places in the component very easily. The app state is updated frequently over time. So this application state, whenever your component state is there, it is updating frequently, means you can use this data in the Redux. The logic to update the state may be complex. So that means whenever you are, for example, you are having one state data in one component, and you are updating the state in some other fourth children component or anything. So the updating of the state will be very complex. So these type of complex scenarios are there, means you can use this Redux. The app has a medium or large size code base and might be worked on by many people. So when your app is a medium or large size code base, means, or otherwise when your application is worked by many people, means you can use this Redux. So now when we can use this, when you have a large amounts of application state that are used by many places in the app, you can use this Redux. When your application updating the state is very complex also, you can use it. Now we will see what are the Redux libraries and tools that are available. So Redux is a small standalone JS library. So that means Redux is a small standalone JS library. However, it is commonly used with several other packages. Okay, Redux itself is a small JS library, and combining with other packages, we will be using this Redux concept. So first one is the React Redux package. React Redux package is nothing but what we can say is, in order to use this Redux in the ReactJS very conveniently, we will be using this React Redux. Redux toolkit. Redux toolkit is nothing but what we can say is, we will be having some useful methods and technologies, so which we can reduce the boilerplate. Boilerplate means boilerplate code. So for you, if you use the standalone Redux library means we will be writing so many lots of code. By using this Redux toolkit, we can decrease the code. Okay, we can decrease the code and we can do it very easily. And Redux Dev Tools extension. So you'll be having a Dev Tools extension so that you'll be seeing the application state and how what are the actions that are being performed and how the state is getting updated. You can see it in the Redux Dev Tools extension. So these are the things that are available libraries for the Redux. So what is this React Redux? As I already told you, right? Redux can be easily integrated with any UI framework. So standalone Redux can be easily integrated with any UI framework and is most frequently used with the React. So most frequently used with the React is the Redux. So in the React we will be using most frequently is Redux. So React Redux is the official package that lets your React components interact with React Store. Okay, React Redux is the official package. So that lets your React components interact with the Redux Store by reading the state and dispatching the actions to update the state. Okay, so React, in the React, if you want to use means you can use this using the package React Redux, so that it will be used with the React components, so that you can read the state and also update the state using this React Redux very easily. That is the nothing but the React Redux. Redux toolkit, we have already seen, right? Redux toolkit. Redux toolkit is the recommended approach for writing the Redux logic. Okay, so this is also an official package that we got from the Redux developers. So this is also what we can say is this is the recommended approach for writing the Redux logic. So when we are writing this Redux logic, we can use this Redux toolkit. So Redux toolkit builds in our suggested best practices, simplifies most Redux tasks, prevents common mistakes, and makes it easier to write Redux applications. So this provides us some useful suggestive methods and useful methods which can decrease the amount of pain of writing this Redux logic. Okay, so this is the main Redux toolkit. And Redux Dev Tools, we have already seen it. Redux Dev Tools extensions allows us to debug your applications effectively, including using powerful techniques like time travel debugging also. So that means you can go to and fro debugging also, we can do it in the Redux Dev Tools extension. And now let's come to the Redux concepts. So what is this Redux concepts? So Redux concept, before writing the actual Redux code, okay, before writing this actual Redux code, let's talk about some of the terms and concepts that you need to know before using this Redux. So you need to know about some useful terms and concepts before writing the Redux. Redux consists of the following parts. These are the main three parts which are available in the Redux. So commonly, state, view, and actions. Okay, you need to remember this one, state, view, and action. And now this is the diagram. So this is the view is our React component, and whenever we want, this state is present in the, what we can say is this state is present in the globalized application state. Whenever we want to update the state, we need to call it through the action. So we need to call an action, and this action will execute the particular state, and this state, whenever it is automatically updated, this state will be going to the view. And whenever we want to update the state means through the action we need to go. So we cannot go it bi-direction like this. So that means this makes the Redux diagram unit data flow. So that means only in one direction the data will be flowed. So this cannot be bi-directional. You cannot, from the view, you cannot directly update the state. You can update the state only through the actions. Whenever a state is updated, it is automatically informed through the view. Okay, you need to understand this Redux diagram. And here you need to see Redux state. So state describes the condition of the app at a specific point in time. The UI is rendered in that state. When something happens, such as user clicking a button, the state is updated based on what occurred. The UI re-renders based on the new state. So that means whenever a button clicked or anything is happened, so we will be automatically updating the state using the actions. So whenever the new state is updated means, so automatically it is informed through the view. Okay, so this is the Redux approach. So now if you try to see what I can say here, the get started, you will be able to understand this one. Okay, Redux toolkit we have seen, and this is the official documentation of the Redux. So if you want to see, you can see this one. Okay, so if we go to the Redux app structure, so I think we will be having, I think, okay, so this is if you want means you can see this one all Redux approach. So now I think you have a basic idea what is the Redux and why we need to use the Redux and what is happening in the Redux. In the next video, what we'll try to do is we'll try to implement the basic Redux application. So how we can implement the basic Redux application, we'll try to see it in the next video. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.